Today's topic of discussion will be astral projection. For those of you who don't know, there is a level of spirituality that is, you are able to reach it, and it is a scary level of strong, if you will. It's scary strong whenever it comes to being spiritually active. Today we're going to talk about that. Today we're going to discuss it a little bit, and I'm going to go more in-depth terms about how it is that you reach, not exactly how it is that you reach that obtainability of that strength, but how it is that you go about doing it if you wanted to do it. A lot of people might ask, what is astral projection? Especially if this is your introduction to it. Astral projection is essentially when your soul leaves your body and you travel to the astral realms for clarity, for advice, for spiritual purposes. So I'm here to maybe answer some common misconceptions, and for that matter, maybe even I have a lot of information to give, so to speak. I do apologize for the lighting if anyone is trying to figure out what's happening with the lighting. I mean, I could take the hood off. I don't think that that's going to help any. But anyway, spirituality, or rather, astral projection, is a way of basically leaving your inner prison, if you will. You would call your body a prison because it withers, it decays, it breaks down. Your body can only take so much. But what if your consciousness could go on beyond your body? Now, this for some of you is scary thinking, because of course a lot of you might or might not be avid Christians, and that's fine, that's okay, that's cool. I can see your point of view, because God and faith is something that you need in order to have things in your life that you can't really explain. And then I asked myself a question. One day, I sat down and I asked myself a question, but I still haven't found an answer to it. For some of you, this could be dangerous thinking once again, and if it is, and if you're not ready to explore, or if you're not open-minded, please click out of this video now. But the question that I asked myself is, if God created the heavens and the earth, people who do astral projections claim that they've went to other realms of reality. Common practice tells us that it goes beyond other realms. It goes to other timelines, other dimensions, other realities aside from our own that may exist inside of another reality or another box. If you've ever watched something like Rick and Morty, Rick and Morty is a great cartoon that is on Adult Swim, and it explores different possibilities, different aspects of different realities. But if that's the case, and you've watched Rick and Morty and you know exactly what it is that they talk about, different consciousness, different realities, different parallel universes, and everything else that they discuss, or that their open-mindedness is to. Astral projection can bring you to those levels of Rick and Morty reality. And for those of you who still don't understand what it is that I'm talking about, like I said, your soul leaves your body. It yeets your entire existence because your body decays, it withers, it. Today we're going to talk about what it is that you can do if you were to try it. Some people say that they've created their own realities. Other people say that they've met with past loved ones. Others say that they've congregated with different species and different people who have fulfilled a society in their reality, not yours. Step one. Because there are bigger things that are out there than just you in this world. People say that they've talked to angels. And whenever I say angels, I'm not talking about spirits that roam heaven and hold a holy sword, wings, a cape, and or a halo, or carry a bow and arrow with them. Angels. They are nothing more than a bright white light, apparently according to what has been told to me, transpired to me before I did research for this video. Before I did this video, rather. Angels are nothing more than a bright light entity of some sort. It's nothing more than energy. It's almost like what I'm trying to tell you happens when you lay down in a chair, in a couch, anywhere, anything for that matter. You can lay down, and once you try these techniques, your soul will leave your body and go to another realm for spiritual awakening, to figure out what it is that you want to accomplish in life. You might have a spirit guide coming with you. You won't be alone. And for that matter, there's a few misconceptions that you might want to understand. Number one, can you die? You know, you're up there in the spiritual realm, right? So you would figure that you would be dead, or for that matter, that you would be under some sort of, in order to get there, you know, it's a lot to take in. But you're not. You're not dead. You're not. And you probably can, you know, die while doing this, but it's not like there's a high chance of it. Understand that it's not something that happens often. As a matter of fact, if you do this, if you choose to, you're probably in your spiritual prime, if that. You could go up there, like I said, and talk to angels or anything of that matter, but I suppose I'm getting a little bit too ahead of myself. So step one is you need to lay down. Step two is, there's a lot of steps with step two. Because according to the research that I've done, there have been people who have laid in bed for literally hours, days even, just trying to get up enough focus, enough cognition to just do this. Because they want to know what it feels like. While you're laying there, though, you want to remember one of three techniques. The third is the one that I would recommend. The other two are really hard ways of doing it, but I suppose if you've done it once with one of these two ways, then you know that it's maybe not as hard as I'm making it out to be. But number one is the ladder technique. You basically, without moving any limbs on your body and being extremely still, don't even scratch your nose, like don't sneeze, nothing. You want to focus all your energy into doing one thing, and that is imagine, almost like a dramatization playing out in your mind. Imagine that there's a ladder descending from the sky, and without doing anything physically, imagining that you're laying in your bed. Imagine that you reach up and grab the first, notch of the ladder, and then you want to climb that ladder. You want to imagine that that's what's happening without actually doing it. The other one is called the rope technique. Same thing, except without the ladder, you're still going to use a rope. They say that that one's easier. I'm not sure how, but I'm assuming a ladder is easier than a rope. Those of you who've been to gym class can probably attest to or disagree with such a statement. The third one is, as I've always recommended, listen to the binaural beats, but the third one has a restriction to it. The binaural beats to make you do astral projection may or may not stop you from enjoying it so much, because of the fact that you may or may not be on a timer, unless you listen to one that's like 8 hours and you plan on being up there for fucking 8 hours, which I would highly doubt that you would want to be. In order to feel but if you do, then, more power to you. I mean, if you're that committed to it. In order to fulfill the requirements to get this done, though, it honestly takes a lot of practice and a lot of time. You would have to probably dedicate your entire day to getting this done, if that's what you wanted to do. Step number one, I would recommend, drink a lot of water. I was told doing my research here that you're not to drink anything. Don't drink, don't eat, don't drive, don't take any medicines, don't do anything that would possibly interfere with, because once you drink or eat, then you gotta wait to use the bathroom, right? Once you use the bathroom, then you're dehydrated. You just gotta drink or eat again. And it's a catch-22. You basically wanna, doing the research for this video, they said you basically want to dedicate your entire day to doing this, so that whenever you get it done, then you can come back, eat, drink, sleep, do whatever it is that you want. Actually, you're going to be asleep while it's happening. Believe it or not, the ritual put your body to sleep, but your soul is still up in the astral planes. That doesn't make any sense to you guys, but it does to me. Whenever you're up there, though, once your soul kind of deviates from your body, you're going to realize something. Your body is laying there. Do not, I repeat, please, for the love of God, do not freak out. Understand that it is just an energy source, that your soul is nothing more than an energy source to your body. Okay? You just need to keep calm, because if you was to your soul leave your body, and then your soul is like floating above your body, if you was to like freak out and go nuts or something like that, you could possibly send your body into shock, and you would go into a coma. So please, just remember, even though it's going to be your first time doing this, don't freak out. Honestly, I wanted to make this video after I'd done my first astral projection, and I'd tried 2 or 3, 4 or 5 times, and I can't get it done. So that led me to believe one of two things. One, I'm not strong enough spiritually, even though I've been meditating for quite a while, on my journey to spiritual enlightenment. Or two, or it could be a combination of the both. One, I'm not strong enough, and two, of course, there would be a second reason. I did it wrong. I did something wrong. I didn't commit all the way, or something distracted me. Something got me thinking, oh man, I really want to try this, but, that open-mindedness that I just talked about, yeah, it's kind of like you have to keep that in order to get this done. Especially toward, it's hard to explain, but you have to, like, stay in that committed state almost all the time. A few misconceptions as well that I feel as though maybe need to be discussed a little bit more, is that you're not dead. You're not going to, like, depending upon your intention, okay? So if your intention for this is purely just to, like, find spiritual happiness, or for that matter to ask questions in a realm somewhere not your own, or for that matter if you're curious, if you just want to, all these things lead you to one thing, and that one thing is kind of like a yin to a yang. Understand that there's a good and a bad reason to be doing things. If you go into this with bad intentions, there are things up there called spiritual demons. And these spiritual demons, they feed off of spirit energy, such as your own, which would be considered bad or not really pleasant. A few of them you might need to do your research on. One that I found named the Zozo is a trickster spirit, for instance. It is a Japanese trickster spirit, and apparently it feeds off of bad or negative energy. Understand that if you're doing this, you have to be pure at heart in order to come out on top. If you're doing this for blessings, if you're doing this for anything, please make sure that you do a spiritual cleansing. This is called sage. Sage is it might look like a marijuana blunt for some reason, but I assure you that it's not. Sage is a purifying plant of some sort, and it's to cleanse your spiritual energy. Your spiritual energy. I think I'm losing my voice. And I think it does a really good job. If you're going to try this, keep in mind that there are very, very dire consequences if you have malintent. You can return anytime you want to. You could literally go up there for 5 minutes and then come back, if you wanted to. Or you could stay up there for 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours. The only downside to staying up there for so long is the fact that your family's going to wonder where the hell you've been this entire time. And you can't exactly just look at them and then say, oh, I left. Like my consciousness just up to Mars, Jupiter. I went to Uranus. I just thought of that joke. But what I mean is that it's imperative to understand that to stay spiritually strong, there are some people who are reportedly, keep that in mind, so spiritually strong that they can look at men and women alike and then almost just sit there and curl their finger like this. Sorry, I didn't know that it was so dark. And whenever they curl their finger like that, it sets them off, almost like sexually. Reportedly. I haven't seen a video on it or anything, and I'm sure if I did see a video on it, it would be like faked. Or if you're into that, it would be on another website, perhaps. Or maybe they are really that powerful. I've encountered some, if your soul can leave your body, what other limitations would there be? Especially if one person can just do this and drive you crazy. Seduction at its finest, people. Imagine you have the power to just do that. And then just make someone say, that's it. I'm marrying him. If you have any questions, I would advise that you Google them. I hope that my video has been a step one in some sort. I had so many questions as well, and I understand that it sounds scary. I had to do research on it myself in order to figure out, well, if I'm going to do this video, then I might want to do some research myself. I'm starting to lose my voice. I'm sure you all can hear it. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, like I said, please, you would be better off to Google them rather than ask me. My Twitter is at P1_Bay. My Instagram is at Moka, MOKA_CPR. And my Discord I'm not giving out. I don't give out my phone number. I'll give out my Discord if we're friends. If no, I don't have a server. If you have any questions, I would advise Googling them. I just hope that this was like a step one. What exactly it is that you need to do in order to understand when can I take my spirituality to the next level. Or for that matter, maybe you want to visit a dead loved one. Maybe someone who recently passed away, you feel a need to contact them, but you don't want to get out the Ouija board and then just be like, all right, this is all that I got. Grandma, are you here? Because that could be dangerous. This is the cleanest, safest way to contact someone. If, and only if, and I'm not guaranteeing that you're going to actually contact them, by the way, because your mind is connected to your soul while you're up there. Keep that in mind. I meant to say this, actually. Keep it in mind that your organs are consciously almost like bound to your soul. Your soul serves only as electricity to pump your heart, full of the oil that we call blood. If your body is a machine, if that's the case, please listen to this. Your brain must be the motor. And if you get up there and you start thinking, and I mean your body, but your consciousness is up here, see? But your body is down here, asleep. But your consciousness controls your brain. Understand what I'm saying. While you're up here thinking about everything because your brain and your consciousness are connected, while you're thinking, these spirits, these demons that I told you about, that I gave you a warning about, they possibly have the insight to look at you and then say, oh, okay, he misses his grandma. From a faraway distance, that they may or may not be away from you. They could be 2 worlds apart, but they could send you an image at that point and let you know, because you're beginner at this and they've been up there their entire lives, because they know how to manipulate. They know what the Zozo that I just got done talking about is a manipulation spirit. These are scary things, people, but what they do is basically stories of people who have been almost like entranced, and they'll tell you to be careful. These stories that I did research for, these people, they say that they've seen their dead loved ones up there, but you can't really take that. They could say something vague, send a mental image to that small beginner consciousness that you have up there. You might be level 1 at this. Keep that in mind. They could send you an image, though, that's basically like your grandma. And then after you go so far, you pull yourself closer to say that it's hard to explain. You're up there with all this space, you know, and then they could latch on to you. I'm not saying that will happen, because it hasn't happened to anyone that I've done research for. But I'm saying that it is a possibility. Think about the Exorcist of Emily Rose, I think her name was, right? She was like, she didn't do astral projection, keep in mind, but for some reason I'm trying to convince you all that demons exist. And as I said earlier in the program, you could go up there and just shoot the breeze with some angels. Ask them questions. Maybe you're curious, but you won't know who you're talking to. You won't know whether it's an angel or whether it's a trickster spirit. I would imagine it being a glowing white, pure light, that it's obviously an angel. But I don't know the extent of the power that they control. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said before, at about 25 minutes in, I feel like this video's gone on long enough. I might not have another video for quite some time, depending upon the results of a certain wrestling pay-per-view that's to take place on January the 31st, 2021. Depending upon the results.